In just 48 hours, OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google, the three biggest names in AI, all dropped something major at the exact same time. Not previews, not blog posts hinting at things, actual product launches. And Canva, the design platform you probably use for thumbnails and presentations, announced their biggest update since the company launched 13 years ago. And a Chinese AI company, MiniMax, released a self-improving agent that's already being called an OpenClaw killer. If you've been asking what the best AI tools released this week actually look like, this is that video. Stay with me because by the end, you'll see why this week in AI News 2026 might actually be the most packed week yet. Quick thing before we dive in. If you're new here, we break down AI news like this every week on AI Trend Alerts. Hit subscribe and the bell so you don't miss the next one. All right, let's get into it. OpenAI Codex becomes Codex for almost everything. Let's start with OpenAI's announcement because it's the one that quietly changes the most. On April 16th, OpenAI pushed a major update to Codex, and they literally titled the blog post, Codex for Almost Everything. Now, if you haven't heard of Codex before, quick background. It's OpenAI's dedicated app for software developers. Originally launched in early 2026 as a desktop app for Mac, with Windows support following in March. Think of it like having a junior developer on your team who never sleeps and never asks for a coffee break. But the April 16th update, that's when Codex stopped being just a developer tool. Here's what's new. Codex can now perform background computer use. It can actually operate your computer alongside you. It can see apps on your screen, click and type while you keep working. And it's not just computer use, it's parallel agents. You can run 3 AI workers in the background while you're still using your mouse and keyboard. One agent handles documentation, one fixes bugs, one tests the UI, all in parallel on your Mac. On top of that, image generation is now built in, using OpenAI's GPT Image 1.5 model. It remembers your preferences across sessions. It connects to over 90 external plugins. And there's a new in-app browser, so you can open a web page, comment directly on the rendered page, and ask Codex to fix what you're looking at. OpenAI says more than 3 million developers use Codex every week, and with this update, they're not just serving those 3 million developers anymore. They're serving anyone who builds things, which is a much bigger category. The goal here is clear. Make Codex the one app that stays open all day, the AI that runs in the background while you do the work in the foreground. Remember this positioning because by the end of this video, you'll see exactly who's trying to do the same thing in design. OpenAI Agents SDK, the infrastructure nobody's talking about. On April 15th, OpenAI updated its Agents SDK, and I want to explain why this is actually significant because on the surface, it sounds like a developer thing that doesn't affect you. Quick background. An SDK is a software development kit. It's basically the set of tools that developers use to build products on top of OpenAI's models. Think of it like the construction equipment behind every AI-powered app you already use. The April 15th update added 2 major things. First, a model-native harness, a system that lets AI agents work across files, terminals, and tools on a computer in a way that's specifically optimized for how OpenAI's frontier models think and operate. Second, native sandbox execution. Agents can now work inside isolated, secure environments, accessing only the files and code they need for a specific task, nothing else. Previous agent frameworks were either flexible but not optimized for OpenAI's models, or optimized for OpenAI but too locked in to cloud infrastructure. This update closes that gap. And it supports portable workspaces, AWS S3, Google Cloud Storage, Azure, and Cloudflare R2, so enterprises can run agents anywhere their data actually lives. One more thing worth flagging. OpenAI simultaneously announced that its older Assistance API, the previous way developers built these kinds of agents, is being shut down in mid-2026. Developers need to migrate. That deadline is not hypothetical. Available to all API customers at standard pricing. TypeScript support coming soon, Python only for now. The reason this matters is every product you hear about for the rest of this video, from Anthropic, Google, and Canva, is built on infrastructure exactly like this. The Agents SDK is the factory floor for the AI economy. GPT-Rosalind, OpenAI goes after drug discovery. This is the one that deserves the most attention and got the least.
Life sciences model helps scientists make faster and better decisions.
This one is genuinely different from anything they've shipped before. GPT-Rosalind is named after Rosalind Franklin, the pioneering chemist whose research was vital to discovering the structure of DNA. The model itself is a frontier reasoning system, purpose-built for biology, drug discovery, and translational medicine. Think of it as a specialist AI that has read every published paper in molecular biology and can reason across all of it simultaneously. It can gather evidence, form biological hypotheses, design experiments, and process multiple steps of a research workflow, things that currently take teams of PhD scientists weeks or months. Let me put the stakes in plain language. Taking a drug from lab discovery to pharmacy shelf currently takes 10 to 15 years and costs billions. GPT-Rosalind's entire purpose is to compress the earliest stages of that process dramatically. OpenAI's already working with Amgen, Moderna, the Allen Institute, and Thermo Fisher Scientific on this. It's available as a research preview through a trusted access program for qualified U.S. enterprise customers, so it's not general public access yet. And it's not just a biobot. OpenAI is also releasing a free life sciences research plugin for Codex, giving scientists access to over 50 of the world's most expensive scientific databases and tools, without any access program required. For context, Precedence Research estimates AI investment in drug discovery will reach $2.51 billion in 2026, rising to $16.49 billion within a decade. GPT-Rosalind is OpenAI's bet on capturing that market early, and it's the first in a planned series of domain-specific scientific models. Claude Opus 4.7, the model that admits it's not number one. Same day, April 16th, Anthropic dropped Claude Opus 4.7. Quick context on Anthropic. They're the AI safety company behind the Claude chatbot, founded by former OpenAI researchers. Opus is their flagship, most capable publicly available model, and this is the third upgrade in roughly 6 months, following Opus 4.5 and 4.6. So what's new in Claude Opus 4.7? With a 13% improvement on coding benchmarks, Claude Opus 4.7 retakes the lead in software engineering. It scores 87.6% on SWE-bench verified. That's the industry standard test for real-world coding ability. Think of SWE-bench like a bar exam for AI coding assistants. Vision is dramatically better. It now processes images up to 2,576 pixels on the long edge, roughly 3 times the resolution of previous Claude models. Screenshots, diagrams, technical drawings, it sees them in far more detail now. And pricing? Same as Opus 4.6. $5 per million input tokens, $25 per million output tokens. Same cost, meaningfully better model. One warning for power users, Opus 4.7 is smarter, but it's reportedly around 30% more chatty with tokens. Your API costs will likely go up if you switch today. But here's the detail that almost nobody's talking about. Anthropic publicly acknowledged in the same announcement that Opus 4.7 is not their most powerful model. Their most powerful model is called Mythos Preview, and they're not releasing it to the public. They've described it as too capable in certain cybersecurity domains to release broadly right now. So Anthropic is shipping a top-tier model while simultaneously holding back a more powerful one for safety reasons.
Claude Design just spooked Figma. One day after the Opus 4.7 launch, April 17th, Anthropic announced something that sent Figma stock down 7% in a single day. The announcement was called Claude Design. Claude Design is a new experimental product powered by Opus 4.7 that lets you create polished visual work, slides, app prototypes, one-pagers, mock-ups, by describing what you want in plain language. No Figma account, no Canva template, just describe it and Claude builds it. Now, Anthropic is being clear that this isn't meant to replace tools like Canva or Figma. It's positioned as a starting point. You describe the idea, Claude Design makes it, and you export it as a PDF, PowerPoint, or a URL to share. If you want to keep editing, you can send it directly to Canva. It's available right now in research preview for Claude Pro, Max, Team, and Enterprise subscribers. Here's what's interesting about the Canva partnership angle. Anthropic's Chief Product Officer, Mike Krager, actually stepped down from Figma's board just days before this launch. Whether that's coincidence or not, the market clearly read it as a signal. Part 6. Google's quiet week that actually wasn't quiet. While OpenAI and Anthropic were grabbing headlines, Google quietly dropped 3 separate things this week. First, Gemini 3.1 Flash TTS. TTS stands for text-to-speech, but this isn't the robotic voice assistant you remember from 2019. Gemini 3.1 Flash TTS gives developers over 200 granular audio tags for emotion and tone. You embed these directly into text to control how the AI voice sounds. Want the narrator to laugh nervously before the punchline? Tag it. Want a whisper into an urgent tone shift? Tag it. Multiple speaker dialogue in over 70 languages? Also included. All audio output is watermarked using Google's Synth ID, a way of tagging AI-generated audio at the file level so it can be verified as synthetic. The model is available now on Google AI Studio and Vertex AI. For those of us in the AI Trend Alerts community who work on voiceover content, and I know that's a lot of you, this is the one to watch. Second thing Google dropped, a native Gemini app for Mac OS. It lets you share anything on your screen with Gemini directly, including local files. Reviewing a complex chart? Share your window and ask, what are the 3 biggest takeaways here? That's a 2-second operation. Third, Google quietly turned Chrome into an operating system for agents with Chrome skills. You can now save Gemini prompts inside Chrome and reuse them across tabs with one click. This turns Chrome from a browser with a sidebar into a personalized AI operating system. The real power isn't just saving prompts, it's the remix. You can take Google's stock templates, tweak the code, and run them across 20 tabs at once. Rolling out now to US English users on desktop. 3 updates, 1 week, no keynote. Google's just shipping. Canva calls it their biggest launch since 2013, and they mean it. On April 16th, Canva announced Canva AI 2.0. Canva's CEO, Melanie Perkins, called it their biggest launch since the platform started in 2013.
We are incredibly excited to unveil a generational leap forward for Canva, our biggest launch ever. Something that will save you countless hours, something that will transform the way you work, something that answers a lot of the wishes you have been making. Can I get a drum roll? Canva AI 2.0.
And that's not marketing language. Canva AI 2.0 is a fundamental shift in how the platform works. Instead of starting from a blank canvas or a template, you now start with a conversation. Describe your idea, brief, or rough sketch. Canva AI builds it. It remembers your brand, your style, and how you work. It connects to Slack, Gmail, Notion, Zoom, and Google Drive, meaning it can pull emails, meeting transcripts, and calendar entries and turn them into designed assets automatically. And here's the part that genuinely surprised me. You can now set Canva AI to scan your emails or Slack every morning and automatically generate a daily briefing presentation or social post based on those conversations. Canva isn't just for posters anymore. It has what they're calling living memory. It can read your Slack and have a slide deck waiting for you before you've even finished your coffee. Here's the scale of what Canva is talking about. 265 million monthly active users, $4 billion in annualized revenue, and Canva says their AI usage tripled in the past year alone. That's not a design tool with an AI feature. That's an AI platform that happens to be the world's most popular design tool. And for context, in the first quarter of 2026 alone, Canva made 5 acquisitions to build out this vision, including Sim Theory for Agentic AI and Orto for marketing automation. If you want to subscribe to notifications on our channel and hit the bell icon, this story is one we'll be following very closely with dedicated videos. MiniMax MaxHermes, the self-improving agent you should know. And the final story this week is the one most Western AI channels missed entirely. If you've been using OpenClaw for your automation, listen up, because China's MiniMax just dropped a potential OpenClaw killer called MaxHermes. Quick background. MiniMax is one of China's leading AI companies, known for its M2.7 model. MaxHermes is built on top of the Hermes Agent Framework, an open-source AI agent created by Noose Research that's accumulated over 64,000 GitHub stars since its February launch. The breakthrough in MaxHermes is what MiniMax calls the learning loop. Every time it completes a complex task, it automatically extracts a skill document, basically a personalized instruction manual for your specific workflow. Next time you give it a similar task, it doesn't guess, it loads that skill into memory. It's officially 40% faster at task completion than standard agents because it actually gets smarter the more you use it. Now, for the millions of you currently building on OpenClaw, here's the honest comparison. OpenClaw built its reputation on a manually configurable skill library, over 50 integrations, huge community, well documented. MaxHermes does the same thing, but automatically. Its skill library grows through use, not setup. That's the specific edge. Where OpenClaw still wins, integrations, 50+ platforms versus MaxHermes' current 3. If you're deeply embedded in iMessage, WeChat, or Enterprise Slack today, OpenClaw is still the more versatile option. But if you want an agent that gets smarter the longer you use it, MaxHermes is the first open-source option that actually delivers on that promise. It also has persistent cross-session memory, natural language scheduling, and parallel sub-agent execution. And the deployment story is zero friction. No API key, no self-hosted server. It runs directly inside Feishu, DingTalk, and Enterprise WeChat, with costs offset through token plans. What this week actually means. Look at what just happened in 1 week. OpenAI turned its coding tool into an all-day operating assistant. Anthropic launched a new flagship model, and then 1 day later, a visual creation product that rattled design software stocks. Google quietly shipped 3 product updates without a press conference. And Canva, a company most people think of as the free poster maker, announced a pivot so large it required 5 acquisitions to build. The takeaway for this week is simple. The chatbot era is officially over. We've entered the agent era. Between OpenAI sunsetting the Assistance API and MaxHermes building a self-improving brain, the goal is no longer to have the best conversation with an AI. The goal is to see how many agents you can have running in parallel while you're off doing something else. This was the week the invisible AI layer finally became real. Here's what I want to know from you. Canva AI 2.0 promises to replace the template and blank page workflow. Claude Design promises to replace the "I need a designer" moment. One argument says this frees up every creative to move faster. The other says it commoditizes design skills that people have spent years developing. Which side are you on? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If this video helped you make sense of the week in AI news, a like means the algorithm shows it to more people who'd get value from it. It literally takes 1 second. If you're not subscribed yet, we cover AI trend alerts like this every week. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a drop. Share this with anyone in your network who works in design, development, or content creation, because this week's announcements affect all three.